and welcome to another episode of The Burning Truth Live. I'm one of your hosts, Scott Barrett, and I'm here with the man with the stash. It's Matt Burns.
The man with the tash.
Do you know what? I just looked up at you and I saw your tash and I thought, yeah, okay, the man with the tash, that makes sense, yeah.
Moustache.
I must ask you a question though, Matt Burns.
Go on.
How are we feeling after last week's episode? We're back in the saddle?
Back in the saddle. Really good, and I will say, rejuvenated.
Regenerated. What's going on this week then?
Well,
anything exciting?
Well, we've got plenty of news to discuss.
Yeah, but before we get into that though, what's new with you?
What's new with me? Well, for myself, as we just said, rejuvenated with the new episode of the Burning Truth from last week, and seeing that we have got some of the return listeners coming back, which is great, is great news. Put an absolute smile on my face. I've got some future deliveries for for future events as well. Good news. I think one of them actually arrived during last week's episode.
Happy days. Oh, there's a parcel behind it. Stuff.
Which I'll demonstrate later. But overall, it's interesting because we've got plenty of wrestling coming up. Be it either watching it, being involved in it, all the above.
Yeah, and it's a great time to be alive. Great time to have a wrestling podcast. And this week, week 2, we've got some amazing things coming up. So we've got the news, as always, that we'll talk through. We've got a review of this week's wrestling, what we've seen, what we've loved, what we haven't loved. We've got our Buried Alive segment, which we had some emails in this week on things that we should bury alive, so we'll be talking about one of those. We're going to do a top 3 this week. It's my turn to top 3, and I'll be doing it properly, Matt Burns. We'll be doing it in order of 3rd, 2nd, 1st. We won't be doing any of this backwards order that you were doing last week.
No, it's because at the time it was just stuck in my head, and it was one of those just can't move past it.
And then to close the show this week, we'll also have a rebook this, and this week it's Matt Burns' turn to rebook, and I've got something very special for him to have a look at.
I get the feeling it's either going to be really difficult, and knowing my luck, I'll probably do something controversial.
It's just something that frustrates me, and I want to know how you do it better. So, okay, without further ado, shall we get into this week's episode?
Yes.
But let's start with a word from our advertisers.
Welcome back, and now it's time for the news!
The news, brilliant, yeah. The first thing I wanted to talk about, Matt Burns, this week was one of my favourite wrestlers of all time. For those who missed this, I want to talk about JBL. JBL appeared at not one but 2 wrestling shows this week, and it caught everybody by surprise. Certainly caught me by surprise.
It caught me by surprise, because there I was sitting there thinking, oh look, Dolph Ziggler. Who's that? What?
Yeah, JBL. So what he's doing, heaven knows. But as long as he's having fun, that's all that's important.
He's having fun. He's a wrestling god. That's side questing.
Yeah, side questing, absolutely. Turned up at GCW and gave Effie 2 clotheslines from hell. I'm not too familiar with Effie, but I know that he did have a feud with Jeff Jarrett a few years ago.
He's had feuds with Jeff Jarrett. He's done many other things. He's had feuds with Joey Janela. I know about his work,
yeah,
I will say.
And JBL debuted in GCW, gave him 2 clotheslines from hell. Happy days. Bob's your uncle, how's your father? All done.
And see you later.
Fantastic, yeah. So that's JBL this week. The other one I wanted to talk about is Dory Funk Jr. Now, have you seen this? Just for the because it's a podcast.
Yeah.
I'll let everybody know that you've currently got your hands over your face, shaking your head.
Pretty much.
Dory Funk Jr. this week involved in a exploding death match in Japan, in which he was hit with an exploding baseball bat.
Yeah. At first, when you presented this with me, what's the first thing I did?
I can't believe you hadn't seen this until just.
It was just, I looked at it, I was like, he's pulling my leg here. No, he's pulling my leg. There's no way, there's absolutely no way. Click. What?
Yeah, give it a Google yourselves, guys, honestly. The images are fantastic. And Dory Funk at 83, 83, an exploding death match, getting hit with an exploding baseball bat. I mean, that is living his best life.
And winning it.
And winning his best life.
That's what I'm saying, he's winning it as well. So straight away, it's like, where do we go with that? Where do we go with that? Because it's just, I can't fathom it, because, fair enough, as much as everyone can sit there and say, Mick Foley, he keeps going, Terry Funk, when are you going to retire? He eventually retired.
Dory Funk Jr. doesn't know what retirement is.
Dory Funk just decides, oh, come and hit me with a barbed wire exploding bat.
And that leads us on nicely somehow. This is a terrible segue to the WrestleMania main event.
Somehow.
And there's big rumours online this week of what this year's WrestleMania main event will be, or next year's WrestleMania, if you like. WrestleMania 41. And right now, all signs are pointing to... I mean, last week we talked about this, and I hoped for a Roman Rock main event at this year's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But it seems like the way we're going to go is Rock versus Cody at this year's WrestleMania. How do we feel about Rock versus Cody?
I'm not 100% on it myself, but I feel as though it could be possibly necessary. But the only question is where does the whole Roman and Cody situation fit? How does that, Roman's got to be on the back foot to the Rock again?
Yeah, it's a strange one, and I do wonder where they're going to go with it. I like it because I'm not thinking about Roman Reigns, so Roman Reigns will be busy enough. I'm sure they'll have something for him. In my mind, I'm thinking about The Rock and Cody and where we left that after WrestleMania this year. And where we left it was The Rock put something in Cody's hand.
Yeah.
Yeah? And he said he'd see him down the road. And I think to myself, what could have been in Cody's hand? Now, let me tell you what I think's in Cody's hand. Let's go back to what happened just before WrestleMania to Cody Rhodes. What happened? His bus burned down. I think The Rock put the lighter that he used to set Cody Rhodes' bus on fire in Cody's hand. That's what I think. Is that not the best story to go into WrestleMania with? You tried to kill me and my family by burning my bus down.
Where do we go? That is just, wow. If that doesn't happen, I'm going to be very upset now.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing it could have been is CM Punk's bracelet. Everybody else is fighting over it, so why can't The Rock and Cody Rhodes?
No, but I have to agree with you on that one. That would be, if WWE don't do that, WWE, you've missed out. Hire Scott right now. He's giving you some free material here. Just take it.
Absolutely. If he was playing TEW9, and Lord knows I have been this week, then I should be in the booking team. 100%.
Definitely.
I'd definitely be creating some creative energy. If you haven't seen that, by the way, TEW9, game that I play, created by Grey Dog Software, currently available for purchase. I'm sure you'll find it on the website. This isn't an advertisement, but I've just been playing it.
It's a nice little cheap plug, as you can say.
I've been playing it this week, and I've really enjoyed myself, so just letting everybody know.
Oh, and just to point out, hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored.
No, not at all. But I have enjoyed myself playing it this week, so I suppose it's a...
It's a free cheap plug for them.
Yeah. Enjoy it, guys. You can have that on me. Shall we go into talking about a review of this week's wrestling?
We could do, yeah. I would say definitely.
You're happy with that?
I'm
yeah?
happy with that.
Just checking with the boss. So let's talk about this week's wrestling. Shall we start by talking about AEW?
Yes, seeing as we've got quite a bit of news, especially with today.
Today, absolutely. Hopefully you'll be listening to this. We're recording on Sunday, which is actually the day of AEW All In, and I believe that it's happening right now.
As we are talking, and yes, as much as we've sat there and said this is TBT live, it's pre-recorded for the first. It's for the trial.
It's live to us, damn it.
It's live to us, and we're treating it as live. So respect it. It's real to us, damn it. But anyway, that aside, we've got AEW now. Everybody is. I almost did the cheap plug there. Everybody's all in.
They're all in Wembley.
Yeah, definitely. Which, ironically, I was almost heading there myself, almost.
Okay.
And the scary thing about it is, my vehicle was already in London the day before.
Yeah.
Borrowed. Because someone had to borrow it because their vehicle can't go through London without getting fined.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a thing. So loads going on this week with AEW. Any huge things happen on their television on Wednesday?
Well, at the moment, we've got Swerve playing the mind games again. But this time, it's not only did a certain American Dragon come flying down to the ring and pretty much nail Swerve with the biggest knee in the face.
Nice.
Out of, completely out of the blue. And the promo we cut, you could see he's passionate. He's fired up, he's passionate. He was just there saying, Swerve implying that he's going to end the American Dragon's career.
And this is 2 years in a row where we've pretty much had All In main events that have been babyface.
The difference is, it's as much as you can sit there and say it's babyface, if you actually watch how Swerve's acting, he's not acting very babyface-ish. I'd say tweener, personally, because he's sitting there saying he's going to do it in front of all those fans. He's going to do it especially in front of, the American Dragon's family, his son, his daughter.
Okay.
And even naming the daughter.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, that's a bit, you're pushing that boundary. And there were talk being, if you think just, beating me, breaking me, injuring me is good enough, you're going to have to damn well near kill me. If not, do worse.
What else is happening on AEW then?
We've also got, as you said, the multiple championships. But wait, that's on ROH again.
Got enough of that last week.
Yeah,
we know how I'm feeling about that.
Yeah. We already know how that's going. But I think the tag team division is going to be the tag team match that's on there. That's going to be interesting.
And what's that?
Certainly, it's a triple threat match, which is the Young Bucks versus FTR versus the Acclaimed.
Oh, the Acclaimed are them guys that say "scissor me," yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like them.
Yeah, and what makes it even funnier is everyone sits there saying it's Billy. He keeps calling their manager Billy Gunn. No, they didn't call him Billy Gunn. They call him Daddy Ass.
Yeah, I love that.
That's Daddy Ass.
Absolutely love that. Yeah, fantastic. And I think AEW, although we talked about it last week, and I'm not the biggest fan of the product, they always seem to deliver on pay-per-view. So, expecting some good things from tonight's show. We're going to watch it straight after this, I believe so.
And they've also dropped some news recently as well. Additionally, because this could have fitted into the news, but I'm fitting it in here now because it is part of it. Next year, All In will not be in London.
Okay, well that's good because they've seen a massive drop off in ticket sales versus last year, haven't they?
Oh no, it's a little bit different. There's a reason why.
Okay.
Instead, they're going to be in Texas next year. So you sit there thinking, well, what's the UK going to get? Oh, only just going to get Forbidden Door.
See, I don't know how excited I am about that because AEW running a stadium, I take it, in Texas?
Yes.
Running a stadium in Texas. They can't even fill an arena for TV, let alone fill a stadium for a pay-per-view.
I think it more or less depends on the audience, and as much as I know a lot of people have been putting up the pictures of stadiums, and the thing is, we don't know exactly when them pictures were taken, so I always take them with a pinch of salt, because anyone can walk into an arena early and just go, take a picture quick.
I just don't think AEW is popular enough to run stadiums every year. I think All In, the first one in Wembley last year, I think wasn't just the product of AEW. It was because London had been crying out.
Yeah.
Wrestling fans in the UK have been crying out for a stadium show forever, and we saw that when we had Clash in the Castle. They clambered there, but having one in Wembley, which is where we had SummerSlam 92, was a huge deal, and I think that nostalgia played into, because let's be real, if everyone who went to first All In London,
myself included, out.
If everybody that went to that, how many tickets did they sell? 80,000 tickets?
It was something like that.
That's roughly how many viewers Dynamite has each week on ITV4. So that's everyone who watches their product went to Wembley. That's not true. A lot of the tickets were sold for the nostalgia, I feel.
It's a possibility, but for me personally, when I went, it was a great show.
Oh yeah, and I watched it, and it was phenomenal. CM Punk's last appearance for AEW, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Which to me at the time, I was like, what? Just didn't fathom until it happened. But then at the same time, you also had the first time of Sting using his old WCW music.
Yeah. Do you want to run us through the rest of the card for tonight then?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, so far we've actually already got some of the actual spoilers for you, but that's for the pre-show. But we're not going to talk about the pre-show. We're just going to focus on the main card, because we've already mentioned the three-way tag team match.
Yep.
We have discussed. We've briefly discussed that Swerve Strickland will be against Bryan Danielson.
Yep.
But it's a little bit more than that for the main event, because it's title versus career.
Yes.
If Bryan loses, that's it. He's done.
I would expect him to lose tonight.
What a way to go.
Yeah.
What a way. Then we've also got the singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship, which is Timeless Toni Storm defending against the Glamour Mariah May.
Okay.
Now, what I find interesting in that is the Glamour Mariah May. I know she has definitely... She's British, so she could end up being a bit of a fan favourite, but Toni Storm could be a fan favourite too. Yes, she's not British.
Australian.
She's Australian.
Spent a lot of time here, though.
But she honed her craft here in the UK. And it was nice to even see on this week from her doing some World of Sport.
Yeah. And the best NXT UK Women's Champion we had, I think.
Yes.
When that was around, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, next one.
We've also got a singles match for the AEW TBS Championship, which is Mercedes Moné versus Dr. Britt Baker DMD.
Okay.
But straight away, that one will be pretty interesting.
Do you know what? I'm so over it. I'm so bored of Mercedes Moné.
The only problem I think what's taken a little bit of the edge off on this is Britt Baker got suspended for an argument that happened backstage.
And this is all stemmed from her and Adam Cole potentially splitting up?
No. It was actually between Britt Baker and MJF.
Oh, right, okay.
It was there was a certain disagreement, but if you want to look into it, my advice is look it up. But we've had one person speak up about it, Will Ospreay, who just says things got out of hand, certain individuals shouldn't have got involved.
Okay,
it's
fair.
more of a personal matter.
Next match.
Ironically, MJF versus Will Ospreay for...
We talked about this last week, and this is for the American Championship, right?
Yeah, the AEW...
Not the International Championship.
Yes. Which I will say, I think it's clever. Because at the same time, I'm wondering if it's a subtle dig at WWE with the US champion.
Oh, 1,000%.
But the fact is, MJF is doing it in such a obnoxious way.
Yeah.
It's not actually mocking the US championship. He's just like mocking the international talent, and it's really, really clever. And you've got Will Ospreay, who's also sort of playing on him not doing his other finisher, the dangerous one, the Tiger Driver. But then you've got MJF sitting there saying, if you can't hit me with your best move, what chance have you got?
Nice. Let's whip through the rest of these then.
Coffin match with Jack Perry versus Darby Allin, which, if I'm not mistaken, it is for the AEW TNT Championship.
Oh, another championship.
Yes, another one. This was the original mid-tier title.
Yeah.
The one that Cody brought in.
Yeah.
But the one touch I will say that I do find hilarious what AEW have done for the new version of the TNT Championship, that Jack Perry made it.
Oh, I saw that a little bit on online. So he literally made it himself, didn't he? It was on YouTube. Yeah, okay, cool.
Which is interesting. We've got the Casino Gauntlet match for a future AEW World Championship match.
Was that a number one contender, is it?
Or
is it more like Money in the Bank?
Originally, it used to be a number one contendership, but it might be getting treated as a Money in the Bank.
Okay, cool.
So that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
And could actually have a few debuts.
Yeah.
But, that could be for another discussion. We've already mentioned the three-way tag, and we've also got, if I'm not mistaken, the last chance match for the FTW Championship. Which is...
This is Taz's championship.
Yes.
Right? Okay, carry on. Who's in this?
Chris Jericho, who is the current champion.
Right.
Versus Hook.
And Hook is Taz's son.
Yes.
Okay. So Hook lost it to Chris Jericho?
Yes.
And is trying to get it back, and this is his last chance.
He's trying to get it back, and what makes it even more funny is that Jericho's rebranded it
as
for the World Championship. For the World.
Got you. Okay.
And we know that Taz... honestly, the little digs that Jericho's been having at Taz, you can always feel the blood pressure of Taz just boiling.
Okay, got it. What else is going on?
We've also got the 4-way London ladder match for the AEW World Trios Championship.
Oh, another championship.
Yep. Which...
Is anybody not a champion in AEW? Because we haven't even talked about any of the Ring of Honor championships here, have we?
Not yet. I think some of them are... Well, they're not being defended on this one. But anyway, we'll just digress. We've got the Patriarchy, who are the current champions, which is Christian Cage, Kill Switch, and Nick Wayne.
Okay.
Versus the Bang Bang Gang.
Is that Juice Robinson?
Juice Robinson, Austin Gunn, and Colton Gunn.
Yeah.
Versus the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews.
Okay, yeah.
And against Pac and Blackpool Combat Club.
Is that Claudio
Castagnoli and, well, Wheeler Yuta, which Claudio, I will say, props to him recently.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's winning awards, isn't he?
Is he?
Yep.
Okay, so that's tonight's AEW All In. Thanks for running us through that, and I think we're probably going to watch that together
at some point.
At some point, yeah. So you might get that down on the RSS feed. If not, it could be on YouTube. But we'll play that by ear and see how we go. I think overall, am I excited by it? No. Will I watch it? Yes, and we'll see. But if you love AEW and you love the product, what an exciting night for you, especially if you're in London. So happy days. What else did I want to talk about? Raw. So, and I'll whiz through these because we've taken up a lot of time for the segment. So yeah, for AEW, absolutely, and rightly so, because All In this weekend.
Yeah,
we took a lot of time for WWE last week. So the New Day, I wanted to talk about briefly.
Yeah.
Odyssey Jones joining them, and there was a bit of a moment on Raw this week. You said where Kofi went for the tag.
Just didn't even go for Xavier, just tagged in Odyssey Jones, and you just see Xavier's facial expression literally just go from excitement to get into the match to then just go, what the hell, man?
Next weekend now, it's been confirmed, we're going to see Punk versus McIntyre in a strap match. Fantastic.
That needs to happen.
I think we're all looking forward to that. Sammy is going to be taking a little bit of time off. I did read online that he's going to be having some sort of stem cell procedure, so hopefully he's back for the War Games, because we talked about this last week, but we all know that I think it's going to be old versus new bloodline in War Games. And it'll be fantastic.
It's already the dirt sheets are already covering it,
and they must listen to the Burning Truth live.
Yeah,
the Judgment Day got one over on the Terror Twins that you called him, and then Pat McAfee called him too this week. I listened. Thanks for listening to the pod, Pat McAfee. The Terror Twins, being Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, absolutely got done over by the Judgment Day this week. So that was great. And Orton got one up on Gunter 2 by beating Ludwig Kaiser in the main event this week. So who had that on the bingo card? Ludwig Kaiser main event in Raw 2024.
But then again, I will say he has been quite on a bit of a roll when he showing his aggressive side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which he's shown that he's got some spiteful ferocity to himself.
Absolutely. And then SmackDown this week. Famously, we haven't talked about NXT yet, and we're probably going to give it another miss this week. Although I will just quickly mention, actually, I believe in Joe Hendry.
We all do.
But let's talk about SmackDown. So SmackDown, Austin Theory. There was a bit of a turn tease in a segment on last night, Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah.
Where Cody Rhodes started alluding to the fact that Grayson Waller was using Austin Theory. So maybe we'll see an Austin Theory face turn in the near future. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know how I feel about that, because it's one of them. It's just, whenever I see Austin Theory, I've always thinking, I can't see him smiling and going, oh, I like you. I'm just used to Austin Theory. What the hell?
Yeah, let's wait and see on that one. Bloodline defeated the Street Profits. DIYs failed save in that match as well.
Yeah.
Bloodline looked really strong. Even Jacob Fatu, when he got involved and used his walking boot as a weapon. I think that's fantastic. That's classic heel stuff, that is. Using, Bob Orton using the cast as a weapon.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same as Jacob Fatu using a walking boot.
Definitely.
Fantastic.
Definitely.
LA Knight. Let's talk about that. What about the new LA Knight elbow drop? Absolutely fantastic.
Off the ropes.
Yeah, and do you know what? Really good match with Santos as well. Props to him.
Yeah.
Great match on SmackDown this week. If you haven't, that's probably my pick of the week to go back and watch, because I really enjoyed that. The whole segment.
I'll actually back you on that one, because I will say, LA Knight is showcasing, he's proving that he is right for a championship. And
1000%.
And who knows, this could actually lead to even bigger gold down the road.
I would love to see him as Raw's World Champion. And then the final thing from SmackDown is just, isn't it nice? Cody and Kevin Owens, BFFs forever. Best friends forever. The whole thing is, it's getting. I'm a bit bored of it. Maybe I'm not.
The weird thing about it is,
I'm getting to boredom.
Yeah, the weird thing about it is, it's best friends, and include a segment of a certain individual turning on his friends.
Exactly, and I think we're all just sort of waiting for KO to turn on Cody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, let's just wait and see. What I'm not going to do is start second guessing WWE creative, because it's been so good the last couple of years. But I'm ready for it to happen now.
The weird thing about it is, as much as everyone can say that KO has got the most vicious turns and everything, for me, his most vicious turn wasn't actually in WWE, and it really wasn't. It was in ROH.
Oh, okay.
When he was Kevin Steen.
Yeah.
When he turned on Al Generico.
Do you know what? I agree, but I don't. My favourite, and I've seen the ROH one, my favourite was the NXT first night turn on Sammy when he won the belt. So Sammy won the belt and KO went straight out and powerbombed him onto the apron. That was my favourite KO turn.
I felt as though that could have been a bit more prolonged.
No, I liked it in one go because it led to the match, didn't it? But yeah, so KO needs to turn, and that was SmackDown, and that is your review of this week's wrestling. I don't know about you, but I need a brew.
Yeah, I think a good brew might work, and and probably introduce some more advertisements.
Here's a word from our sponsors. And we're back, and this is my favourite part of the show. Yeah. It's my favourite segment, and it's the segment idea that I brought to the show with me last week, and that we're going to keep in because we like it so much.
Oh no, it's one of my favourites to literally talk about because
100%, and it's our version of Room 101. So basically, we're going to take an idea or something that happens in wrestling or something about wrestling, and we're going to decide whether we're going to bury alive that idea for the rest of time. And last week, we had a really interesting discussion on the Prime Hydration Station versus the Al Snow Big Boss Man feud of 1999. Oh. And we buried alive the feud of Al Snow and the Big Boss Man. Rightly so as well when I think about it, because the feud itself was terrible, and it just got worse and worse. The Kennel from Hell match in the end that sort of swung the vote. But this week we've had emails in from our listeners, which is fantastic. We've had quite a few in, and thank you very much for your emails. We really appreciate them, and keep sending them in with suggestions of things that we should bury alive this week. And the one that I picked out to talk about today was one from a young man. I'm saying he's young, who knows? A young man named Noah. And Noah said that he absolutely despised backstage brawls, and he was coming at it from somebody who's been to a Raw or SmackDown taping, because he said he hates backstage brawls. What's the point in paying all that money and you can't even see what's happening? So his big issue, by the sounds of it, is that you go to Raw or SmackDown or AEW or NXT as a paying customer, and there's a backstage brawl, so you can't even see, the live crowd can't even see what's happening. What is the point?
I should be more concerned about this because I've actually been at a live event where something like that happened.
Absolutely. And you think to yourself, oh, well, they're gone now. Should I go and get a drink? Or is it time for me to go and get some popcorn and a beer? Or, oh, no, they're back. Oh, no, they've gone again. And I totally get Noah's point. And I think this probably, for me, deserves to be buried alive. But I want to just talk it through against, live TV. And maybe, if we think about some of the really shocking moments, like when Kevin Nash darted Rey Mysterio into the TV truck, etc. That wouldn't have worked in the arena.
No, it wouldn't have. It just wouldn't have suited. The weird thing about it is there is many cases you could have for fighting back and forth in regards to it. But then again, AEW is probably criminal of this one at times. Okay. With Stadium Stampede.
Yeah.
Because you've got so many bodies going everywhere. And I was at the last year's AEW All In, where they had a Stadium Stampede, and trying to make sense of what the hell was going on in it. Your head is literally on a swivel, just trying to pinpoint where each of them were. And if any of them went on the backstage, have we got a camera on them?
And they've probably just gone for a sit down and a cup of tea.
Walk up to somebody.
And I'm not saying I've done that in my wrestling career.
No. Or could have gone to the bathroom.
I've done that as well, yeah. And so when I'm talking about it, I just think he's probably right. Is that for the paying audience, it's not great, is it?
It's not great. But the difference is when you're there, what they do is they dim the lights and put it up on the big screen. Which, okay, you've got a massive screen TV so you can see it, but then you're being treated to the exactly same as what people at home have got.
Yeah, you're just watching it on a screen.
You're just watching it on a screen, which, if you've paid so much for tickets, now, if it's one segment, that's fine. If it's multiple segments, then there's an issue. Because I feel as though if it's constant in the back, then it's like, hang on, I paid for a ticket, come down to come see it. Some people are paying, what, £200, £300, dollars, and everything, and higher to get that, I want TV more.
But again, without these backstage brawls, we would never have got
certain segments.
We never would have got Raven running over the Big Show in the golf cart.
Oh, you mean the one that almost ended at a certain WrestleMania?
We never would have got Kevin Nash throwing Rey Mysterio like a lawn dart. We never would have got Vince's car getting filled with cement. Backstage segments and
we
brawls.
Wouldn't have had Austin forklifting Triple H's vehicle with Triple H inside.
Probably could have lived without that one.
Yeah, which is so dodgy.
So, what do we think then? I think if we do this, we've got to put all backstage segments into Room 101. And I don't think we can do that, can we?
That's tough. I don't think we can, because there is... Bear in mind, we'd also have to put the segment of Triple H with Trish and Stephanie, the whole walking.
I've done a full 180 here. I started this thinking, we should totally throw this into Room 101. And now I'm thinking, actually, we can't throw this, because also, let's think about this one. Remember when Maven eliminated The Undertaker from the Royal Rumble?
Oh,
we never would have had that segment either.
Yeah.
No, we can't put this into Room 101.
As much as...
We can't bury this alive.
You know what? When you first mentioned it to me, a part of me was like, no, I can see where you're going. But then the more you sit down and you actually talk about it, it's like the backstage brawl segments. No, you can't, because at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's probably a bit more frustrated with the one segment where they had the ECW championship being done in a scramble match, where Punk was the champion, but he got taken out. That sort of segment probably is probably where he's probably thinking. Which when you get them little cheap ones, then I can understand that, because that takes away from the actual main product. Or if people are paid to see CM Punk and he just had his head kicked off in the back.
So we're not burying this alive.
I don't think we can bury it. I can't bury it.
Sorry, Noah. This week, nothing gets buried alive. Oh.
Although that that hydration station is looking pretty.
Matt Burns wants to go back to the hydration.
No. It's looking pretty sus.
Yeah.
But
what I will say is, thank you very much for your email, though.
Yeah.
And you can send all your requests of what you would like us to bury alive to.
You can either do it through the website.
Yeah.
Or you can do it through our email, which is info@theburningtruthuk.com.
info@theburningtruthuk.com. Or you can leave us a comment on the YouTube, on the Facebook page,
Twitter,
Instagram, all those things. If you're doing it on Twitter, please use the hashtag #BurningTruthLive.
Hashtag #BurningTruthLive, hashtag Buried Alive.
Buried alive.
Buried alive.
Okay, let's move on then. That's Buried Alive. The next segment, and I really like this one too, this is top 3. And we talked about this earlier on, and I'm not going to let you ruin another week's top 3. This week I'm going to do the top 3, and we're going to do in the correct order, so we're going to do 3, 2, 1. Ready when you are. What this week are my top 3?
I am interested to see your answers to this one, because I've already got my answers immediately.
Okay.
And what makes it even more funny is, if a certain wrestler's name isn't mentioned on this list, I want to know how.
Okay.
But I want your top 3 blunder promos.
Okay. Number 3. I got this already. I can already think of at least 2, maybe 3. Okay, so number 3 has to be Mike Adamle. Yeah. And listen, it's harsh because now we know all the things we know about CTE, etc. He was obviously having a hard time remembering, etc. But I can't not think of Jeff Harvey. Right? When he called Jeff Hardy, Jeff Harvey.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Do you want it even more shocking?
What?
He was actually called that once.
Yeah, absolutely. But he didn't know that. Definitely.
No, he didn't know that at the time.
So Mike Adamle has to go number 3, and he's only number 3 because of now we know everything we know about CTE.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody gets the help they need. And love to Mike Adamle. He gave us. He gave us at least one good time. Second, I'm gonna have to go with Psycho Sid.
Yes.
And Sid is a great shout, and I think we're alive, pal. Sid, notoriously terrible promo. JR was producing. But lots and lots of terrible promos from Sid, so he's number 2. And my number 1, I don't know if this is blunders or just worst promos. If it's worst promos, I'm saying Mercedes Moné. Because she's terrible. Take the microphone away from her.
I will say, now, bear this in mind, I watch AEW myself. And I saw a segment on there, and I was like, what?
Yeah, and do you know what? Every time she picks up a microwave, every time she picks up a microwave, Matt Burns, every time she picks up a microphone, you tell I'm missing my tea here.
Don't worry.
Every time we pick up a microphone, she picks up a microphone. The stock decreases.
Plummets.
Yeah, she went into AEW, the next big thing. She was never going to make a difference because of all the reasons that I don't like AEW. But she went in there, and we're allowing her to have mic time, and she's making herself a smaller and smaller part of the show. The more she forces herself onto the mic, the less we will care about her, because she's disingenuous, she doesn't come across engaging, and she's unlikable.
The weird thing about it is, at first, they actually try and portray her as a face. Yeah. And I'm so glad that when they got Britt Baker back, they thought, oh, we'll do face versus face. Crowd, nope. Nope, not accepting.
Absolutely not. And, I think she had all the right reasons to be frustrated with the WWE when she left.
Yeah.
But actually, some of the holding back that the WWE did was for the right reasons. She is not as good as she thinks she is. Does that round out my top 3? Is she my number 1 worst promo? Or are we talking blunders? You did say blunders. She doesn't necessarily blunder, does she? No, I'm going to lock in.
I'm fine with that.
I'm going to lock in 3, Mike Adamle. Yep. 2, Psycho Sid. 1, Sasha Banks. Now, if this was best promo ever, we'd be talking about Steinermath, but we're not. And on that note, 3 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 means it's time for an ad break.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and welcome to the part that we do so much enjoy to do from time to time. And this is the Rebook This.
Yeah, and this week, Matt Burns, it's your turn to rebook this. So I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to take you down memory lane, right? Mm-hmm. On the 7th of January 2002, Triple H returned to Monday Night Raw. Mm-hmm. I am the game. Yeah, he went on to the Royal Rumble to win the Royal Rumble, eliminating Kurt Angle last.
Yeah.
He went all the way to WrestleMania to defeat the undisputed champion Chris Jericho, being accompanied by his ex-wife Stephanie McMahon at the time on TV.
Yeah.
Triple H's reign lasted an entire month when he got squashed at Backlash by the new red and yellow Hollywood Hulk Hogan. What I would like you to rebook is Triple H's title reign. So not the lead up, but the reign itself.
Right. For me, I think everything up to Backlash is fine.
Okay.
Hogan, sorry brother, you ain't going over. It might not work for you, but there's no way. I feel as though if they were going to have him drop it there, it shouldn't have been at least... It wasn't exactly fair because you had Taker involved, if I'm remembering things. But then...
Taker then went on to beat
Hogan for it. Like it was all planned and rearranged. Now, for me, I think the bigger money would have been have Triple H over Hogan, and having him versus Taker would have been the better option, potentially.
So Triple H versus Taker, I imagine it was Judgment Day at the time.
I think it was either... Yeah, it was Judgment Day.
Judgment Day, yeah.
Judgment Day. Because the reason why I just want that, I just want Undertaker nowhere near Hogan for that worst chokeslam ever.
Yeah, it was bad, wasn't it?
Especially when you see him go for the jump, he doesn't jump, and you see Taker lean and go, "You best jump." Right. I think Triple H and Undertaker, I think that would have been a unique dynamic as well, because I think at the time, Triple H hadn't been faced against a heel Taker.
Correct.
So that could have changed that dynamic a little bit. So we could have had it where, Taker could, give him, Triple H a bit longer. But for me personally, I would have held it off a little bit longer. Have it where Taker looked like he tries to cost Triple H, but Triple H just gets by the skin of his teeth, potentially. Because I'm just trying to think who was around at that time.
So you got The Undertaker, Stone Cold took his ball and went home not long after the Hogan pay-per-view, the Hogan win.
Yeah.
You got Jericho, obviously, on the other side. Brock Lesnar's just coming through. He's about to win the King of the Ring.
Ooh.
Kurt Angle's still around. Kane is still around.
No, straight away. There we go. Was Kurt Angle face or heel at the time? Heel. So I would have taken losing almost by a whisker.
It was in this stretch, I think, where he had his head shaved by Edge.
Yes, I would say Triple H versus Angle after. I think I would have. The only question is do we lead? When did The Rock take the championship off Taker?
That was a triple threat match at. I want to say.
It was either Vengeance.
I want to say Vengeance. Yeah, Vengeance. Triple threat match at Vengeance, because that was The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, and The Rock.
Yeah, I would say probably. And the weird thing about it is, do we have Brock taking it off The Rock again, or do we have him taking it off Triple H?
I'm going to interject here, because if you have Brock take it from Triple H at SummerSlam,
we don't get the
you don't get Shawn Michaels' return match against Triple H in the Street Fight.
Oh no, can't do that. No, can't do that. No, I'm not being that controversial. Nope. I think we would potentially have to go down the route of probably making that original triple threat into a fatal four-way.
Okay, so it would have had Triple H, The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, and The Rock. And The Rock still would have gone over. Taking it to SummerSlam, where he'd have lost it to Lesnar.
Yeah.
So Triple H's title reign still wouldn't have been amazing.
Would have
defeated Hogan, Undertaker, Angle, and then lost it to Rock.
Yeah.
That's what you would have done.
Yeah.
And at what point would you have turned him heel?
I would
Immediately after. Ready for SummerSlam.
But what I would have done there is probably have Shawn have somebody try and get involved in the match, and have Shawn come out and try help Triple H to assist him in the fatal four way.
You wouldn't have had the whole the worst Hell in a Cell ever if you'd booked it that way either. The Jericho Triple H Hell in a Cell match, which happened at Judgment Day, I think.
Yeah.
So you've been able to avoid that completely.
Yeah.
So that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
That's what you would have done.
That's what I would have done, because if I would have fitted in to have Shawn inadvertently cost Triple H. So there's a bit of a tension. It's like I'm really so sorry, I didn't mean to. It's like no, I'm all okay. And then you have the instant attack, the whole segment that you had immediately. But instead of dragging it out, I'll do it like exactly how they did it. But instead of doing it as in on the day, I would have had him doing it after the event, after when he dropped the belt.
Yeah.
The same event sort of happened after, but then sort of had the reveal on either the Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Happy?
I'm happy with that.
And that is this week's Rebook This. Tell us what you thought in the comments. Let us know. Send us an email. Get on the website. Whatever you need to do. Everything will be in the link description below.
Yeah. I feel as though that went far quicker than I thought.
Were you happy with that?
I'm really happy with that. I don't know where that came from.
Do you know what? I did the same thing with mine last week, because the first two we've done was mine last week, and then this one this week for you. And I think you get into a bit of a flow, don't you? When you start thinking about it,
you do.
It is much easier to think about. So yeah, well done, Matt Burns, with that one. I think now it's time to say goodbye. But before we do, before we say goodbye for this week, what has been your highlight of the week in this week's wrestling?
My highlight? I'm just trying to think. Do I go down the JBL route, side questing?
Nice. You did enjoy that. It was the first thing you wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, I had to. But then again, you surprising me with your news of barbed wire exploding baseball bats.
That's I'd say I want to be doing that in my 80s. Let me tell you.
No. Just now. To quote somebody, a certain famous wrestler. Doesn't work for me, brother.
Okay. I don't know if we can top that, Matt Burns. I would like to say thank you very much for listening to this week's Burning Truth. You can find us on all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, The Burning Truth.
Pretty much.
Live UK. The website is
TheBurningTruthUK.com.
TheBurningTruthUK.com. You can email us at info@TheBurningTruthUK.com. And you can follow Matt Burns at...
You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all the other.
What's your handle? That's what we're waiting for.
Oh, my handle, the Hammer Matt Burns.
The Hammer Matt Burns. Search the Hammer Matt Burns and you'll find him. I'm not on any of the socials, but you can find me through The Burning Truth. Thank you very much for listening this week, and that's all from me.
And that's all from me as well.
Excelsior!